So let's recap some of the things that we've gone over in this section, as well as some next steps, so that way as you work with this third pillar on data, you can fully bring it into your organization and fully grasp it and implement some stuff. So the first things that we talked about were around devices and software. We looked at the way that devices and software house a UI and allow users to have access into data. We talked about the different softwares out there or even different devices out there and how they impact an experience that a user has with an organization, and how we want to make sure that the devices and software fit the needs of the stakeholder and what we're expecting the stakeholder to do in a given situation. We looked at security and backup. We talked about the importance of making sure that we're securing the data as well as backing it up. That way, if something is to happen to the organization, we were to have some sort of malicious actor or even just a user that makes a mistake, we can go back, reset everything, and keep the organization going. We talked about what the cloud is and what that means to use somebody else's computer. We discussed things about how that can change storage, how it can diminish silos between business units. And then we touched on regulation and compliance. We looked at how the digital experience or our company in general can be impacted by regulations and compliance issues, and how we want to do what we can to avoid those. We want to make sure that we're building something that is respectful of the rules and regulations that we need to follow so we can keep compliance. So now for next steps, first thing is go through and in the digital experience matrix, list out all the regulations that you see impacting your company. The more that you can become familiar with and understand, the better off you can be in making sure that something you're building is meeting these compliance regulations and that you're not going to have to worry about any surprises that could harm your company. The other one is going to go through, same in the digital experience matrix, but you're going to have a tab for devices and another tab for software. List as many as you can think of. And you can do this again depending on the position that you're in the organization. If you're a small business, then it could be a great practice to go through and list as many of these as you can throughout your entire organization. If you're an executive that is in control of a business unit, then you could get a little bit smaller and just look at the impact in your kind of immediate vicinity for the company. It could be great to see it for all of the company, but it could also kind of hinder and you might not have that much time to go through and do that. So respectful of your own time, it might be better just to do it for your own business unit. And if you're a coach, like a very small entrepreneur just getting started, this is a great way to see what you have now and get an idea of some places that you can go. You never know by going through this and seeing what you have, and that might bring up some issues, and then you can see how you can fix that and provide the experience that you want. The next thing will be to go through and list any connections. So look at how you see different pieces of software connected in your organization. Same rules apply for the size of your organization and how in depth you want to get into this. But having an idea of what software is connected or even not connected can be a great practice. You might find some things about ways to connect software that wasn't connected before, maybe at a time that it wasn't able to be connected, but due to changes, you can now make that connection happen. Or you might even find issues where maybe users are complaining about having to do certain tasks, but if you were able to connect the pieces of software, maybe that wouldn't be an issue anymore. After you've gone through the digital experience matrix, then look at the reflection. There's some questions in the reflection that will help you get some deeper insights about how this can apply to you and your organization. With that, we'll move into our first bonus pillar, or pillar number 4, where we're going to talk about some ways that you can get support in building out a digital experience.